Before the Constitution, Continental Congress was relying on the Articles of Confederation, but that failed. The Articles of Confederation failed for them because it made the central government weak. So, during May of 1787, Continental Congress called for a convention, the Constitutional Convention. They originally wanted to revise the Articles of Confederation, but instead made a whole new plan, which is known as the Constitution. In the beginning, the Constitution consisted of the Virginia Plan, the New Jersey Plan, the Great Compromise, and the Three-Fifths Compromise. By September 1787, they created a system of government that protected them from tyranny. The Constitution was written on September 17, 1787. Now it just had to be ratified. Some delegates opposed to it because there were too many compromises. People divided into two groups: Federalists, people who support the Constitution, and Anti-Federalists, people against the Constitution. Before it became a law, 9 out of the 13 states had to ratify it. Alexander Hamilton, James Madison, John Jay led the Federalists and wrote the Federalist Papers to persuade others to support the Constitution. They did not feel the Bill of Rights was necessary, but the Anti-Federalists did. Anti-Federalists feared the government would get too strong and take away their individual rights. They had their own Anti-Federalist Papers. The Federalists agreed to add the 10 amendments called the Bill of Rights to protect people's inalienable rights. In March 1787, the Constitution became law, and 2 years later, 1791, the Bill of Rights was added. Popular sovereignty. The first 3 words of the Constitution are, "We are the people." All of the government's power comes from the consent of the citizens. Limited government. It limits what the government can and cannot do, so it does not gain absolute power. Republicanism. Citizens vote for representatives to govern them. Federalism. Power is divided between the federal government and the individual states. Separation of powers. Power is divided into 3 branches. This prevents the government from turning into a tyranny. The legislative branch creates laws for the nation. The executive branch enforces and administers the laws. The judicial branch interprets the laws. Checks and balances. Each of the 3 branches has certain checks over other branches. This balances the power so no branch gains too much power. Individual rights. The Bill of Rights provides personal freedoms, protection, and equality. Autonomy of the Constitution. The contents of the Constitution are 3 branches of government. The Constitution is divided into 9 sections. The first section is the preamble. The preamble introduces the Constitution by describing the purpose of the new government. The first 3 words of the Constitution, "We the people," contains the critical idea of self-government. The legislative branch. Legislative means lawmaking. This branch is responsible for making laws based on citizens' needs and wants. Citizens elect representatives to govern them from the Senate House of Representatives. Executive branch. The executive branch executes and carries out the laws. The president is the head of this branch. The president also negotiates treaties with other countries, maintains a cabinet who run the 15 executive departments, and represents the United States of America. Judicial branch. The judicial branch interprets the laws to decide if they have been followed. There is a Supreme Court and the courts below it. Federal judges can't be elected, they must be appointed. People are guaranteed trial by jury in criminal cases. Credits by HAYDEE, Sanchez, MARC, Stevens, and Crystal Rocha. Information from the Constitutional Folder articles.